All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Have you guys covered here with a Saturday morning live stream here. So just a quick recap from yesterday. Yesterday, finally a bad day. Flex Friday wise, kind of thankfully it was on Flex Friday. It kind of is what it is. Definitely due for a bad day that occurred yesterday. Obviously, the last two Flex Fridays, 5 for 5, 6 for 6. And then yesterday, I think 1 for 5. Bryce Harper ended up leaving after the first inning. James Paxton gave up 2 home runs. So definitely not a good day yesterday, but that will happen. Let's see here. The playoffs are rigged. I don't know. I don't think I'm never going to be someone that says playoffs are rigged or anything like that these days. But yeah, I get why people have those opinions. But today I want to really just come out with the live stream because we are getting a pretty solid edge right now in golf. This is something I put out on the 905 Discord. And that is something that I put out on Twitter as well. So I'm really shocked that this prop bet is still there as it sits right now. So we got Davis Riley, okay? Greens in regulation. This is off by 1.5. This should never, ever be happening, guys. So we have a perfect opportunity to run some middles out here. And so for anyone that doesn't know what middles is, it's basically you bet both sides of a bet between the two prop sites. So on Underdog, it's at 12. Okay. Probably the wrong line on Underdog, but that doesn't really matter with kind of the board today because, well, we can run out the over on PrizePicks at 10.5. Okay. So really what we're hoping for is 11. It's going to be very difficult to imagine Davis Riley getting 13, though. Okay. These are longer holes. And we're just seeing, especially if we were to compare it to like other greens and regulations, that's kind of the clear outlier there. That should not be happening. So again, betting the under on Underdog and betting the over on PrizePicks. This has been, two of my biggest days thus far in 2024 have been doing stuff like this where it does middle. Now that's a little bit lucky. We know that. That's been well established, but those are the opportunities that you just need to be taking advantage of. So looking at it here, we do have two other potential middles that you could run out as well in terms of golf props. So the other one is still a Davis Riley strokes prop. And I want to point that out because I'll show you guys on pick 6, which I don't always tell people to play, but that's a decent edge that we have as well. So Hayden Buckley now as well, you could bet his understrokes on PrizePicks. So you could pair that up with the greens and regulation prop. And then you'd bet the over on Underdog. Now, I do want to call out pick 6 here, guys, because when we look at pick 6, we are going to see the strokes prop for Davis Riley is at 69.5. That's kind of a clear outlier as well. So you would want to bet the more there, and then you could also bet the under then on PrizePicks. It's kind of a weird way to go about attacking, but you could easily do that. Now, I do want to point out Brian Harman as well. So right now, the prop lines for Brian Harman, 69 for his strokes. And so the thing with pick 6 is you always have to do an opposite bet. So if you're going to bet a bunch of mores, like Hayden Buckley, you could do more on pick 6. And then you would obviously want to do Brian Harman more here as well. But because of the board as it sits right now, you wouldn't want to do that. So what you could do is if you're saying that he's going to get, like the board saying that he's going to get under his stroke or over his stroke, sorry, at 68.5, he's likely to finish over that. You could bet his under fantasy score. So that's kind of a workaround around that. I kind of hate that pick 6 does that. I get why they do that, but this is a good workaround for that. So I want to start out with the PGA props because, again, yeah, we are getting some good edges there today, and it's just a spot where, we really should just be attacking that. Again, probably just chasing more middles, but that's insane. And so while we're on golf, again, I want to point out that we are getting a decent amount of edges on paper for these birdie or better. Now, unfortunately, yesterday, the one that I gave you guys, Ricky Fowler, he had 1 birdie, 0 bogeys. That was an insanely rare scorecard for Ricky yesterday. That does not happen with Ricky like ever. So unfortunate that that was really an outlier round for Ricky to only have 1 birdie and 1 bogey. I mean, good for him. That's what he needs more of. But some of the other golfers, Danny McCarthy got his over. He had 4 birdies or better. So kind of unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is. I'd be fine with betting really all of these here that we have. Webb Simpson right here, Hayden Buckley potentially, Matt Kuchar over birdies or better. You could do Kevin Tway, Zach Johnson. I'm kind of fine with that, but for me with golf, I typically just like to pair those together in like one big slip. Even though it's going to be a reduced payout, you are just betting on how the course is going to play that day, and so that's an approach I don't mind doing, and that's kind of what I've been running out with golf. Appreciate it, Trey. Appreciate that. My camera's right in front of where the comments pop up. So if you see me guys lean over, that's what I'm doing. But I appreciate the comment there. But yeah, that's kind of it for golf. We'll pull up Underdog real quick, I guess. Because the fantasy scores have been okay. And while that's loading again, I don't know how many people play Pick Six, but sorry, that does seem to be a pretty big edge today. And I'm assuming if people are playing on PrizePicks and Underdog a lot, they do have access to Pick Six, for the most part. A lot of you guys know by now, probably I'm assuming that I have to drive to the border a lot of the times to place my bets, which is like a 15-minute. If I want to use like DraftKings or FanDuel, that's like it's like a 13-minute drive, which I do. But obviously much easier to place Underdog, PrizePicks, and now Pick Six bets. And I'm assuming that's going to be most people that watch these videos as well, where they might have access, but they're restricted on which books are available or they don't have access. So again, that's why I do like to call Pick Six props when they are available. But looking at it, guys, actually not getting any good fantasy score prop bets today, but the data is kind of telling us to bet the under for Underdog fantasy score today. So that does correlate decently well with, again, that Pick Six prop that we were getting. So I like to see that. Let's see here. I think we were getting one good discrepancy that we could, So here we go. So we got Jules Anthony here. Again, we have another middling opportunity in soccer. Like this should not be happening. So in a weird way, I kind of like that it's set as a push. So, shots attempted, it's going to be tough to imagine him getting 4 when the underdog line is set at 2, right? So it probably should be at 2.5, but today with the amount of middles I'm running out, like if I want to run out a 4 slip, 3 slip bet, I'm kind of okay using this one with that. I think that that makes sense because it's just not likely that it gets over 4 shots on goal. So this is one that I'm perfectly happy to run out there with the Davis Riley prop. The greens and regulation. I like that. So definitely happy with that. Let's see here. That's funny. Let's see here. Don't think Pick Six in Canada. Got it. Let's see here. Yes. This occurs occasionally. Yep. Let's see here. So, will I be going over sportsbook bets today? Yeah. So, yeah, we can get into that. Someone commented about MLB or NBA as well. We'll get into that here. So, NBA wise, while that loads here, let's just see. We have a couple of good bets right now, and this is kind of the nice thing about doing a live stream, and I guess I'll just pull it up right now, is that these should still be available. Just did a refresh right before this video, so you guys should be able to run these out theoretically. So Kyrie Irving over 3.5 rebounds. That's a good EV bet that we have. Derek Lively for under his steals. That's a decent one. Naz Reid over 4.5 rebounds. So, we're getting some decent bets for tomorrow's game, at least. The projection data for that will be loaded in there tomorrow. As I've, stated a few times, for NBA, it's always the day of for projections, but we can always compare the average sportsbook line against those. So we are getting some decent ones today. I wouldn't say anything crazy. Here's an okay one. If you guys are just someone that bets on sports books, Pascal Siakam for over 3.5 assists. The projection data likes it for over for him to get 4.5. So a decent edge there. Nothing too crazy. Small edge. Drew Holiday, rebounds, and probably not much there. Let's see. Another one, Halburn for under points, 16.5. The projection data really doesn't like him today. So maybe something there. If you guys agree with that, by all means, go for it. As you guys know, I typically don't like to kind of force bets like that. But if you're obviously betting on DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, those sites, those are fine bets as well. But yeah, we are getting some EV bets here. Kind of like that. Decent edge there with Kyrie Irving rebounds, Naz Reid rebounds to bet the overs there. And then let's get into MLB. And we are getting some good WNBA props. Don't let me forget about that, guys. I need to call that out. So yesterday, not a great day. Bryce Harper got pulled after the first inning. Didn't see why. That didn't help a stack that we had. Otone had a terrible day. Dodgers scored 5 runs. I would run that bet out again every single time. Like if we could lock in 5 runs, it just didn't work out in our favor. So today we are getting a couple of decent ones, nothing too crazy. Yandy Diaz for over his hitting fantasy score. CJ Abrams, that's okay. The one that kind of stands out to me the most is probably Morel for over his fantasy score. 8.5 is the game total, which kind of the best of these top ones. It's probably my favorite one. And then I don't know, did anyone catch why Bryce Harper left the game? Because he seems like a decent bounce back candidate today. Like I'd be fine with that one. And then let's see here. So we only get one okay pitching fantasy score prop bet today. Luis Severino for under his pitcher fantasy score 29.5. The projection data likes that 26. The average sportsbook line would be favoring the under, okay, at 29.5 as well. So decent edge here. Like I'm kind of okay with this one. I've said this a few times. I would much rather run out a pitching fantasy score that's, like this rather than, kind of chase a hitting fantasy score. Just because I think for the kind of calculation that we use is it better fits pitching because it's more direct. With hitting fantasy scores, you're trying to factor in home runs, steals, doubles and stuff. That stuff's kind of unlikely, right? Whereas pitching props, it's pretty easy to know for the sportsbooks to know whether 4.5 strikeouts is a good line, whether 2.5 earned runs is a good line, what pitching odds they're going to get. For the most part, it's just much more accurate for the sportsbooks. So thus, it's going to be easier for us to establish good lines. So again, probably my favorite one, and then Morel for over his hitting fantasy score. So yes, WNBA, please. We'll get into some WNBA right now. So I did mention we were getting like 2 good prop bets. One of them's pretty high. And so while that's loading on my end here, let's just pull this up here. So it's Brianna Stewart. And I think this went up slightly. I think it was 43. I'll have to check this. I think it was 43 to start the day. Now it's at 45. But it was favoring the over. And this is such a high number that I don't know if I exactly want to run that out. That's kind of crazy. So we'll pull that up here in just a second. So we got Adam calling out that Harper was ejected. You love to see that, right? Jeez. Thanks, buddy. That's unfortunate. So thanks for letting me know, though. So I don't know, or we don't have to worry about him being injured. So that's actually a good sign, I would say. And so now, let's jump back into WNBA here. So looking at it, guys, Brianna Stewart still fine. Project to get 47.5 for her fantasy score, 47.6 for the average sportsbook line. Decent, only about a 53.86% edge, but still not bad. The data correlates there. I'm fine with that. And then we got Sabrina for over her fantasy score. This is probably the best one on the board. This is one where I've used with Davis Riley a decent amount, and I'm comfortable doing that. So a decent edge there. And let's just see what her kind of game log is. But this is one to me, I kind of don't mind stacking a little bit. I wish we were getting maybe other ones in this game that we could run out. Maybe we will as the day progresses, but 2 pretty good ones. And the thing that I like about Sabrina, been very consistent as well, kind of right at that line, basically every game except for one. I don't know, was that game a blowout against Indy? I don't know, but pretty good edges there. I think, was it Stewart? We got lucky on Thursday with a game going to OT with Minnesota. So hopefully they can help us out again here. That'd be pretty nice. But today, decent edges here. Nothing too crazy, I would say, but let's flip it over and see if we're getting any good underdog prop bets as well. I haven't really checked this out yet. We are actually, I'll get into that. But if you guys are watching this, just make sure to drop a like right now. If you guys are new to the channel, drop a subscribe as well. That does help out. I kind of hate saying that stuff, but it's amazing that actually does work out. Like literally, I've measured it. It's the amount of times that you tell people to like a video, it just helps out. And again, it's kind of crazy. Kind of have to do it. Today, underdog wise, I'm glad I looked. Wow. Seems like an underdog day now. I did not notice this. Whew. Okay. So I need to write some of these down. as well on my end. So Nola, I'm going to be running out on underdog here for over his fantasy score. That one stands out. So his line on PrizePicks would be 33.5, projected at 35.6, average sports decline 37.5. Very solid edge there. We can see Jordan Montgomery here in comparison to PrizePicks, slight edge there. And in comparison to the average sports decline, slight edge there. The projection data doesn't like it as much. That's the difference between one strikeout or not and probably getting a quality start. So a decent one there. Hunter Green, again, the projection data doesn't exactly agree. Maybe not one we need to go on exactly. That's kind of the case with all these prop bets today, except for Aaron Nola. So that's easily the strongest one on underdog. But I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty good pitching props. Would love the projection data to agree with all these. It's not. But that's intriguing. That's intriguing to me there. I think that would. I mean, I'm definitely going to run that out as a slip, just those 5. But again, with the Davis Riley one, my bet of the day for underdog would probably be. Let me just make sure I don't mess this up again. Not again, but I don't want to mess it up here. So his greens and regulation, Davis Riley here. Yeah, it'd be under on underdog, greens and regulation at 12. Remember, and then you'd be betting the over fantasy score on underdog for Aaron Nola. Like that seems like a strong bet of the day. Again, we do have some middling opportunities there with Hayden Buckley for his strokes, where we're betting it both ways as well. But that's intriguing to me. So again, decent edges here. Pitching fantasy score wise, nothing too crazy other than that. So decent edges there. And that's kind of it. Let me go ahead and just get some slips ready here for you guys on my end. And then I'll give you guys some bet slips. So underdog always takes forever to load. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing, even on my phone. Half the time, it's super annoying. PrizePicks typically very fast. I mean, I already have a PrizePicks slip ready. I'll show you guys that. Give me a second here, though. All right. All right, here we go. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now for PrizePicks. This one's no longer worthwhile. Okay, just this was the middle that I was running it out earlier, where I think one of them corrected their lines. Let me just take that off right there. But we are still getting this middle opportunity on both sides. So again, if you are running this out, I strongly suggest running out the less than on underdog. And then here you'd be betting over 70 strokes on underdog. Okay. But again, we are going to use this one with the Aaron Nola fantasy score on underdog. That's a good edge that we are getting. And then just sticking with the two WNBA props. In a weird way, it's kind of nice that they're together. We're kind of betting on the game, maybe being high scoring and close. And I say that because then we can pair it with Davis Riley at least as well. You could do Luis Severino in there as well. That could be a decent edge that you toss in there as well. I do have another one as well. I'll pull that up here for you guys as well. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Here's the other one. Another strong middling opportunity. Let me just get that ready. So it's weird because today is definitely more of a day in which we are probably just running out some middles, which is fine. But then we have this one as well. So again, what we would do is do the opposite on underdog, where we're betting more shots here on underdog, and we're betting less greens and regulation on underdog. I think that makes sense, right? It should. And again, I would pull this up on underdog just for me to do it live. I don't know. Maybe I really don't know why it takes forever on my desktop for underdog purposes. But yeah, pretty solid, bet slips today. I love the fact that they haven't adjusted Davis Riley yet. And it's kind of crazy. I tweeted about it. Typically right after that, typically they adjust that. So pretty big edge there. But that's pretty much going to do it, guys. Quick and easy video. I have some long work to go ahead and do this Saturday morning, which in a weird way I'm kind of excited to do. So That's the 30s hit me hard, guys. That's what that means. But yeah, should be a solid day today. Want to go live because a lot of those props do lock at like noon as well. So, wanted to get that out to you guys. Got 100 people in here. Love that, guys. Hopefully, can do a live stream for you tomorrow. Kind of planning on it. We'll see. So be on the lookout for that. Don't exactly know what time. But before you guys go, make sure to just like the video. That does help out the channel a lot, even after the live stream is posted. So that's going to be all for today's video. Appreciate you guys being here. Good luck today. And as always, let's keep cashing.